Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to unpack a truly fascinating and honestly quite intense esoteric text known as a Mirror for Cultivators, or as it's known in Thai, Krichok Song Pu Bam Pen. Now, when we say cultivator, we're talking about someone actively walking a spiritual path toward enlightenment. Originally transmitted as divine revelations, this source material acts as a deeply sobering cosmic warning for these practitioners. We're going to explore its intricate cosmology, its strict spiritual laws, and the profound warnings it holds for anyone who might lose their way on that path. Okay, let's dive right in with a powerful thought that sets up the ultimate goal of this entire journey. The text establishes its core thesis immediately with a direct instruction from the living Buddha Jigong. He tells practitioners, do not care about the rights and wrongs of others, only recognize your own faults. It's basically a command to stop looking outward at what everyone else is doing wrong and turn that critical eye completely inward. Because in the cosmology of this text, failing to recognize your own faults doesn't just, stall your personal growth, it actually traps you in some highly specific realms of cosmic punishment. Heavy stuff, right? So, to really wrap our heads around this complex cosmology, we're going to take a structured tour through 6 key areas. First up, a mirror for cultivators. Then we'll look at the heavenly prisons, followed by a fallen soul's warning. After that, we'll tackle the trials of Mara, explore the power of vows, and wrap up with attaining true inner purity. Let's get started. All right, Section 1, a mirror for cultivators, a cosmic warning. We need to understand right off the bat that this text is absolutely not your typical gentle spiritual guidebook. No, it's presented as a profound cosmic warning designed to act as a literal mirror for the soul. The source material explains that a lot of practitioners, they make these grand sweeping vows, but then they quickly forget them the second they face earthly distractions. So this divine revelation exists to map out exactly what happens when those vows are broken. It's here to make sure practitioners don't just wander off the path out of sheer ignorance. Moving on to Section 2, the heavenly prisons, realms of punishment. Now, what's really fascinating here is a revelation from the strict heavenly warden known as Tian de Lao Ren. He reveals this shocking concept. Heaven itself actually contains prisons for those who fail in their spiritual duties. And he details 4 specific realms of punishment that are directly tied to specific earthly failings. So you've got the cloud and wind cave, which is for cruel speech. The building prison is for abandoning temples. Then there's the seed prison for extreme selfishness, where souls literally have to plant seeds that never stop sprouting. And finally, the staircase prison. Let's actually look a bit closer at that last one, the staircase prison. The crucial point here is that karma in this universe is intensely literal. If your faith wavered on earth, if you were hesitant, constantly stopping and starting your practice, well, you're doomed to an endless, frustrating climb. The text describes how these souls are forced onto a staircase, but no matter how hard they climb, they literally never reach the top. They just constantly get dropped right back down to the bottom to start all over again. And this just goes on until the soul is finally purified of its hesitation. This brings us to Section 3. A fallen soul's warning, the testimony of Zhao Zhensheng. To make this whole concept intensely real for us, the text provides the dramatic first-hand testimony of a fallen temple master named Zhao Junsheng. And his story shows his downfall was totally sequential. It didn't happen overnight. He actually started out with really earnest devotion. But soon enough, pride crept in. That led to arrogance and disrespect toward his teachers, which kind of triggered this cascade of failures. He ended up closing his temple and casually breaking his vegetarian vow, figuring, just one bite won't hurt. And finally, he ended up trapped in the heavenly prisons, literally weeping as he begs current practitioners not to repeat his fatal mistakes. Which leads us to ask, how does that happen? Let's look at Section 4, the trials of Mara, the Demon King. Seriously, how does a devoted temple master lose his ways so drastically? Well, the text introduces the primary antagonist, Mara, the Asura King. We see a really fascinating shift here. It contrasts the stoic, rigid justice of the heavenly warden with the incredibly cunning nature of Mara. While the warden passively waits to punish broken vows, Mara is out there actively wanting you to fail. His entire celestial job is to test practitioners. If your mind wavers even a tiny bit, boom, he slips right in, seducing you with these grand illusions of wealth, fame, and vanity. Mara essentially looks right at the reader and asks this direct question: what do you desire? Is it wealth, fame, power? In the text, he actually gloats that his hands are just overflowing with jewels, and he's offering earthly thrones to absolutely anyone willing to abandon their spiritual journey. He specifically targets people who prioritize comfort, worldly pleasures, or honestly, those who just blindly follow the crowd. He is, without a doubt, the ultimate tester of spiritual resolve. So, how do you protect yourself? That's Section 5, the power of vows, the ultimate defense. Okay, so you've got strict heavenly wardens on one side and this highly manipulative demon king on the other. What do? Well, the text turns to a compassionate guide, Living Buddha Jigong. He explains that taking vows, specifically the vegetarian vow, or Qingko, is your ultimate defense. It is so much more than just a diet. It acts as a literal, metaphysical shield. By refusing to consume meat, you cut off the cycle of bad karma tied to animal suffering. And it goes even deeper. Those who take this vow actually receive an invisible yellow flag from heaven. Think of it as a spiritual marker that actively wards off the unseen disasters that Mara constantly tries to throw your way. Finally, let's look at Section 6, attaining true inner purity through the 6 senses. You see, holding a vow isn't just about a list of dietary restrictions. It's an active, continuous state of being. Jigong actually maps out these clear, grounded steps to achieve true inner purity. Step 1, your vow must be unchanging, steadfast, no matter how chaotic the world gets. Step 2, you have to cultivate an unchanging mind rooted in gratitude. That means totally avoiding the trap of blaming heaven or complaining about others when things get tough. And step 3, practice an unchanging compassion that is guided by true spiritual discernment rather than just blindly going along with the crowd. Furthermore, Jigong stresses that true inner purity absolutely must envelop all 6 senses. It's not enough for just your tongue to be clean from what you eat, what your eyes watch, what your ears listen to, and what your mind dwells upon. All of that must be strictly purified as well. The idea is that by cleansing all 6 senses, a cultivator creates a vessel so incredibly clean and radiant that divine entities are just naturally drawn to protect it, while demonic influences are completely repelled. So what does this all mean for us? To conclude, the core message of this explainer is that the journey of a cultivator is relentless. The presents await those who surrender, and demons actively hunt for the distracted. But divine guides and heavenly shields are ever present for those who persevere. Like the text says, if you stop walking, all hope is lost. So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought, that this ancient mirror reflects back onto you today. Will you keep moving forward?